Shabbat Shalom. It's very excited to be with our friends here in New York. All of our friends who are streaming. As we've mentioned before, it's Shushan Purim, the tremendous amount of light that is revealed. This week's reading as well has a tremendous amount of important secrets that B'ezrat Hashem we will understand, more importantly, not just the secrets, but what they mean for us every single day. It's one of those portions where the literal story is clearly beyond this physical world. There's three main points in the story that I want to point out, and I know many of us know it and remember it, but for those of us who don't, but also for those of us who do, to awaken an understanding of what we're going to receive. Most of us know that at Sinai, the first time, there were a few times, the first time, the Israelites were ready, the world was ready to receive the light of immortality. Charut ala luchot, cherut mimalach hamavet, freedom from the angel of death. And so Moses goes up to the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights. And then as he is prepared to come back into this world, the Israelites fall. They create what is literally translated into the golden calf, Egel HaZahav. What is that fall? What is the secret of that fall, of that failure? We have to understand the secret because the Kabbalists teach that every time we fall, it is the same force, the same type of failure, the same type of falling as the Israelites experienced with the golden calf. Now, I think most of us, we can appreciate or admit that we fall, maybe every day, often, but I don't think any of us yet has created a golden calf. So what does it mean when the Kabbalists teach that every time that we fall, it is from the same place, it is the same mistake that the Israelites made with the Egel HaZahav, with the golden calf? That's the first question. What is the secret of the falling of the golden calf? After that, Moses has a very interesting, intimate conversation with the Creator. And he has a request that appears only once in the entire Torah. He says, Hareini na et kivodecha. Moses asked the Creator, reveal to me the totality of your light. The Creator says, Ani avir kol tuvi al panecha. I will grant you this request. I will reveal the totality of my light to you. And then, so golden calf, Moses asks for the light of the Creator to be revealed. Hareini na et kevodecha. Reveal to me the totality of your light. And then there is the moment when the Creator tells him, I will put you in a cave, in a mountain, and I will pass across you. And there is the revelation of what's called the Yud Gimel Midot HaRachamim, the 13 attributes of mercy. The Kabbalists teach that those 13 attributes of mercy are the light that is available even for those who don't deserve. Even a person who does not deserve the totality of the light of the Creator being revealed to them, the 13 attributes of mercy, when and how, we have to understand how, but when they are revealed, can remove any type of darkness, even to those who don't deserve, and can connect an individual completely to the light of the Creator. So these are the three elements of the secret of the Shabbat. To understand what the golden calf failure is, because we're not reading a history book of what the Israelites did in the desert thousands of years ago, where, as a Kabbalist teaching, we're learning how it is and why it is that we fall every single day. Then, what is the request that Moses has? Hareini na et kevodecha. Reveal to me the totality of your light. And then there's the revelation of what's called the 13 attributes of mercy, that if we're able to connect to that, whenever that type of light, whenever that source of light is revealed, all darkness, all negativity, whether a person deserves or does not, is completely removed. So those are the secrets we are going to try to uncover, and as we understand, not just to understand them, but most importantly, to learn how to use them and how to live them. So to understand the secret of the golden calf, we turn to a section in the Zohar, in Truma, section 738. The Zohar here is talking about light. What is the secret of light? And by the way, I do recommend for those of us who are here, even certainly for our friends who are streaming, this is the Shabbat to really, if you can truly delve deeply into these two sections that we're going to read, section 738 in Truma and 739. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai reveals, he says the following. Or, the ancient word for light, da itkalil b'matan v'shiva almin. The word or in Hebrew is the numerical value 207. And Rabbi Shimon is saying that the light is revealed in the world. There's all the light that has ever been revealed, that will ever be revealed, is contained within 207 worlds. And we know worlds represent really the totality of light that we need. This is the secret of light. Whenever we talk about light, really what we're talking about is 207 worlds that we want to connect to, that we need to connect to. Tlat mea ve'eser inun matan v'sheva inun misitra diyemina. On the right side of light, those of you who remember on Purim, we tried to start the revelation of the secret. It says that all that will ever be revealed of goodness, the Creator promises, lehanchil ohavai yesh, that I will give each person who's connected to the light of the Creator 310 worlds. The numerical value 310 is all that there is. So all that there is in reality is contained within yesh, all that exists, and the numerical value is 310. And here Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai reveals that those 310 are really divided into two types of worlds. There is the 207, which represent the worlds of light. And then there are the 103, the Kuf Gimel, that are representative of the worlds of darkness. So if the totality of all light is 310, and our life purpose is to be able to receive all the endless light from those 310 worlds, that light is divided into two groups. One that is numerical value Raz or secret or Or, and it is the place from which all blessings come. When you're, to put it very simply, whenever you're feeling good, it means that you're connected to those 207 worlds, to the worlds of light. Whenever you're experiencing darkness, it means that you're experiencing those 103 worlds, which are not darkness, but if you believe that they exist on their own, that they have a power, that darkness exists and has its own strength, then, chas v'shalom, that's the experience that we have. So again, to make sure, because it's really important to understand this, as we will come to see, this is maybe the most important secret to understand how to transform ourselves and our world. You have to know there's 310 worlds. La'anchil ohavai yesh. All blessings, all light, they come from those 310 worlds. But our light is divided into two groups. One group is called 207 worlds. And when that experience of connection to the 207 worlds is when you're experiencing blessings, when you're experiencing goodness, when you're experiencing light. The 103 is when an individual experiences darkness. Not coincidentally, the numerical value of Egel, or the golden calf, is 103. That the Israelites, for whatever reason, became connected to those worlds that are called the Kuf Gimel Olamot, the 103 worlds of darkness. And now I want to read a few more words from Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and then B'ezrat Hashem we will come to understand how we practically reveal only light. These 310 worlds that encompass all of existence and all of our experience in our lives is not just, Rabbi Shimon says, a concept. Every single day an individual vacillates between the experience of the light, the 207 worlds of light, and the 103 worlds of darkness. So this is the framework of existence. That every single day, again, many of us, even though it's relatively early morning here, wherever you're streaming, you have to know that there's 207 moments of light prepared for you, which means, and again, we've all experienced in our lives what light is, but that means those moments throughout the day that you're experiencing happiness and certainty and goodness, that's because in that moment you are experiencing the 207 worlds that are called or, light, or raz. When you're experiencing darkness, when you're experiencing pain, when you're experiencing disconnect, you've moved into the 103 worlds. This is the experience of life. We sometimes experience the 207 worlds, and sometimes we experience the 103 worlds. Sometimes we experience light, and sometimes we experience darkness. How do we transform? How do we transform our experience? So that, and this is, of course, as we know, the ultimate purpose of existence, the ultimate purpose of our soul in this world. If you think, or while you're experiencing pain, or you're experiencing darkness, that this is reality, that these, in the words of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, these 103 worlds, these 103 moments of existence have a right to exist on their own, and they're not a part of the 310 worlds that are ultimately only going to bring light, then the individual is disconnected from the light of the Creator, and the individual, chas v'shalom, will continue to experience that reality of those 103 worlds of darkness. With our consciousness, we give them an existence. We say this darkness, or this pain, or this difficulty that I'm going through has not even a purpose, but it has an existence on its own. It is not part of the pathway that is all-inclusive, what's called the 310 worlds, and only bringing me to light. So this is a concept we've learned, but again, it's easier to learn than to live, that when you know with certainty that even the darkness that I am experiencing, even the pain that I am experiencing, and even the challenge that I am experiencing is only a part of the total plan the Creator has for me for this day. That what is the ultimate purpose of this plan? Only to experience what we call the 310 worlds, the yesh, all that is, only with light and with blessings. Then you forcefully transform all that darkness into light. When we speak about the Israelites, that they fell to the golden calf, it means that they fell to where, again, now we understand we fall to this probably every single day. Think about, I don't know, today it's relatively early, yesterday was Purim, maybe the day before. Was there an experience that you had, that you were going through, and it could be a momentary, it could be an hour, it could be a day, where you said, this is dark, this is painful. And in that moment, you weren't attaching it, you weren't aware, you weren't conscious of the fact that this is only part of the path of the complete perfection, what's called the 310 worlds of light of the Creator. In your consciousness, you gave it its own existence, that it's a real thing. Darkness exists and on its own, for its own sake, whatever that is. That's what the Israelites did, and that's what we do almost every single day. When we're experiencing a fear, a doubt, a negativity, a challenge, when we do not have the strength, or do not have the consciousness to say, this is part of the perfect plan for my soul to only live in the reality of light, then we're doing the same failure. We're falling in the same way that the Israelites did. We are giving existence to these separate 103 worlds, as they're referred to, as if there's such a thing as worlds of darkness that exist on their own. So now we can begin to understand the secret of the transformation that we need to go through. The purpose of our lives in this world, and as Rabbi Shimon says here, even in the world of souls, is to have an experience of lehanchil ohava yesh. That those who are connected to the light of the Creator, all 310 moments in a day, all 310 worlds and experiences throughout a lifetime, and all 310 worlds within which my soul exists, I only experience goodness and blessings. The way to get there is that when you are, because in every single day, there's going to be 103 moments that are trying to tell you we exist on our own. We are a separate reality from everything you know that to be light, from everything you know to be the plan of the light of the Creator for you. If a person falls to that, that's their reality. They're in what's called the Egel, they're in the 103 worlds of darkness, and they continue to exist. to the degree that we have the consciousness to say, no, these 103 worlds are not simply worlds of darkness. They are part of the 310 worlds that are the path that the Creator created for our soul, for perfection, for goodness, and for light only. They are transformed. And that's our work in our lifetime, and this is our work every single day. You know, sometimes I speak to people who are on the spiritual path, and they say, you know, I thought that, you know, or I think, if I'm connected to the light of the Creator, all I'll experience all day is only light. And the answer is, of course, you will, but you have to know that what light means, light encompasses the 103 worlds of challenge. Not coincidental, the Kabbalists teach that the word emunah, the word certainty, is 102. That the force, this power of certainty helps you with your free will elevate beyond and transform the 103 daily experiences that must be of challenge, that come from those 103 worlds with certainty. And what's the certainty? The certainty is that these are not moments of darkness that exist on their own, but rather they are a part of the whole. Yes, they are the 103, what we call the left side, but they are part of the 310 worlds that the Creator and pathways the Creator has created for me today to experience all the light and blessings that I'm meant to experience in this day. I hope this is clear. Again, if we experience, and you're going to, this is when you woke up this morning, was prepared for you 207 moments, if you grab them, to only feel light, and 103 moments to experience what's called the left, the 103 worlds of darkness, but to transform them with certainty that says what? That these worlds, these experiences do not exist on their own. They are a part of what's called the yesh, the 310 worlds that are prepared for me, the pathways that are prepared for me to only experience the light and the blessings that I need to have. To be clear, if a person only experiences the 207 worlds of light, 207 moments of light throughout the day, and does not go through the 103 moments of darkness and transform them, he or she will not have the blessings that they need. The spiritual path, and this is really the great revelation that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is telling us here in the Zohar, is that every single life and every single day, and sometimes even within an hour, there's 207 moments prepared for light, 103 moments prepared for challenge, and we have a choice. Every single day, every single moment. Do I think? Is my consciousness telling me that these 103 exist on their own, or do I awaken the certainty, the emunah 102, to transform the 103 worlds and bring them back to the path, right? If you have to go from point A to point B, and you remove, and you have a car, and you're trying to go on the road, and you remove parts of the road, you'll never get there. The 103 worlds that are called the left column worlds, that we experience as the challenging moments in the day, they are part of the necessary path to my blessings of that day. And again, if I give them the consciousness that they are alone, or maybe they don't have a purpose, or I wish I get through them, or I wish they didn't exist, the individual cannot make the journey of that day, and certainly cannot make the journey of his lifetime to receive the blessing they were meant to receive. So this is the first understanding, and I hope it's clear, but it's very important, as Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai makes it clear, this is a consciousness we need to awaken every single day. Not to allow the 103 experiences of challenge to make us think they exist on their own for no purpose, but rather they are part of the 310 pathways of blessings that, combined with the 207 moments of joy and the 103 moments of challenge in a day, create the perfect blessing for that day. Very important. So that's one level. That's one level. But now I want to go a little bit deeper. Those of you with us in Purim, you know that I said I wanted to go deeper in Purim, but I don't think we got as deep in words. We got deep in connection, but not in words. But now I want to share with you, again, a teaching that, as the Kabbalists make clear, if we're not endeavoring, if we're not doing the work to achieve this consciousness, it will be impossible for an individual to truly accomplish the purpose for which they came into this world, and certainly impossible for us to transform our world as it is meant to be. And it's simple words from the great Kabbalist, the Maharal. And he says the following. One of the most important verses in the Torah And we do say it every single day, but of course we know it's not the words, it's the consciousness. V'yadata hayom. You need to know this today, every single day. You must live in this consciousness. V'hashevota el levavecha. And you have to repeat it in your heart. You have to meditate upon this concept. Ki Hashem hu ha'elokim. That the light of the Creator is what there is in the supernal world. Bashamayim mima'av v'la'aretz mitachat. And the light of the Creator is all that exists in this world. Ein od. Ein od. There's nothing else. So, what are the words, ein od? If I said to you, or maybe many of us, if we think about it, okay, we learned this, that everything, that in the upper worlds, in this world, everything is the light of the Creator. Most people understand that to mean that there's no force that exists that is greater than the force of the light of the Creator. In the words of the Maharal, ein ha-perush ein od elokut. It is not to tell us, and the daily meditation is not that there isn't another force that is greater than the force of the light of the Creator. Aval perusho, the real understanding of that statement, of that verse, ein od davar ba'olam rak Hashem yitbarach. There is nothing else that exists except the light of the Creator. Now, I want us, maybe you've heard this, I know I've shared this before, but before we even talk about what it means, I want us to ask ourselves the question. When I have a concept of what spiritual reality is, and more importantly, the way when I live my daily life, and I know the most important thing is for me to connect to the light of the Creator, but then I go through my experiences, my daily experiences, and I experience many things that are honestly, again, you could use different words, but honestly, I think that there are other forces in this world. How do I know? When you had a problem, and again, not that you shouldn't do this, but then you called your doctor, right? And it was really important what he was going to say. Why? Because his advice, his force is important. Or you had a problem when you went to your lawyer, and the lawyer told you it was very important to get him on the phone and to hear his advice. What you're saying by living in this way, and we all do this, we all fall to this, is that there are other forces influencing my life. It could be this person who hates me, who's doing something bad to me. It could be, there's an endless amount of forces that we, in our consciousness, give strength to and give reality to. But in truth, the right or the consciousness we need to be fighting for, and this has to be a fight, is ein od milvado, which means again that there is no other more powerful forces than the light of the Creator, but that there is nothing that exists except the light of the Creator. Now, I hope it's clear to us a few things. First, that this is a consciousness most of us, whether we've heard these words before, do not live. And the reason we don't is because we're not fighting for it every single day. The Creator tells us, unless you're meditating upon this an hour a day, a few hours a day, it's not going to be your reality. We use the word, but it probably doesn't mean anything to us anymore. I have to repeat it over and over, that this is an illusionary world. What does an illusionary world mean? It means it doesn't exist. It means that all that exists is only the light of the Creator. Now, I can say the words, you can say these words, you can hear these words. Does it mean anything to us? When we wake up in the morning and we get a text that upsets us, and what is that? When we get upset from that text, what does that mean? That means that this is real, right? We've all, you go to a movie, you watch a movie, or you go to a play, and and terrible things happen. I personally, it upsets me, even though I know it's not really happening. But anyway, most of us, when we see something upsetting in a movie, or we see something upsetting in a play, it doesn't really upset us because we know it's not happening. They're pretending. It's not real. But when we go through life and we give strength to the illusion, that it doesn't mean anything what we come to the center and learn, or we know in some deep recess of our consciousness that there is nothing else besides the light of the Creator. Now, the only way to get around this is to fight. to fight for the consciousness. And again, as the Creator tells us, you have to meditate every single day on the truth of the illusion of this world, and ein od milvado. That there is nothing beside the light of the Creator. That's why, of course, you have to close your eyes in moments of connection. Because, as I said, we repeat these words, we study these words, but how much do they actually mean to us in our daily lives? Very, very, very little. Now, the reason that's a problem is because the entire purpose of our creation, individually and collectively, is to bring into our world a different reality. Not the illusion of pain, suffering, and death, but the reality of only light, what's called the 310 worlds, to become manifest in our world. No more pain, no more suffering, no more death. How are you going to do that? How are we going to do that? How's humanity going to do that if we don't believe that it exists? Our consciousness, which is bought so completely, I was going to say 99%, but the reality is, it's, we have to be honest with ourselves. Especially, again, we have the power of Purim, the power of Shushan Purim. We live completely, no matter how spiritual we want to think we are, and we do our connections, and it's beautiful and it's important, probably. But we are living and completely bought into the illusion of this world. Now, an individual who has bought in, as we do, not only have we bought into the illusion of this world, we buy in, we invest every single day more and more and more and more and more into the illusion of this world. Every time we get upset, every time we get disappointed, every time we experience, as we call the 103 worlds of darkness, we are literally investing ourselves more deeply into the illusion. There has to be in every given day, and again, this is if you understand this, you understand how difficult, and I know this is deep, hopefully deep as we wanted to get, but there has to be at least, we call it 207 verse 103, at least double the amount of time in a day that we awaken the consciousness of there is nothing but the light of the Creator. And especially the time to do that is when something upsets you and something disappoints you and you experience a challenge. There has to be double the amount of moments of experiencing the truth that this is all an illusion and there is only the light of the Creator, at least 66% of our day. If not, the individual is not on the path for which the soul came into this world. And certainly, that person cannot bring into our world that new reality. This is fundamental. This is not another important, interesting concept, spiritual teaching. What this practically means, for myself and for all of us, for those of us who take this seriously, that we have to start fighting every single day for at least 60%, 66% of the day, 207 worlds of light. What does light mean? Light means I completely remove the force of the illusion of this world. Ein od milvado, there is nothing but the light of the Creator. And again, be honest. Let's be honest with ourselves. We go day to day to day to day in the worlds of darkness. And yes, we get a glimpse of what we call the 207 the worlds of light, but well, most of our existence is the 103 worlds that we give them their strength and their existence. Again, every time you're upset, every time you're disappointed. And again, this is really the gift of Purim, this is the gift of Shushan Purim, but this is the fundamental question that we have to ask ourselves. If I want to accomplish the singular purpose for which my soul came into this world, to reveal the light for myself and for the world that my soul came into this world, how much of my day is lived within the consciousness of Ein Od Milvado, that there is nothing except the light of the Creator. There's literally nothing. Not there is the strongest thing, the most powerful thing, the thing that I'm connected to. No. Ein Od. There's nothing but the light of the Creator. And how much of my day is spent in the 103 worlds of darkness? And the calculation is important because unless we are at least getting towards an existence, a life that is fighting for 66% of the day in the consciousness of Ein Od Milvado, that there is nothing but the light of the Creator. The individual cannot be on the path for which the soul came into this world, and he or she cannot bring into our world for others the light that the Israelites lost. We fall. We talked about the Egel, the fall of the golden calf. We're doing it every day. Now, hopefully it's clear. We're doing it every single day, at least, I was going to say 103 times. Unfortunately, more than 103 times a day. This is a real fight. It's a difficult fight. It's a difficult fight. When was the last time you meditated for 10 minutes? Especially, and the most practical thing I'll tell you to do is this. Today, hopefully nothing happens today that upsets you. Tomorrow, if something happens that upsets you, stop for 3 minutes after you get that call or that person says it to you or you read that text, and you meditate for 3 minutes. And you repeat the words. This is a complete illusion. Ein Od Milvado, there is nothing but the light of the Creator. Ein Od Milvado, there is nothing but the light of the Creator. That's the fight. Otherwise, we learn spirituality and we learn about the light of the Creator and we live a spiritual life, whatever that means. But not truly accomplishing the purpose for which our soul came into this world, and certainly not being able to be a conduit to bring that light of Chirut Mimalach HaMavet, the removal of all darkness and pain and suffering and death from our world. This is serious work, and this is difficult work, and this is work that most of us are not doing. But if we want to experience Lehanchil Ohava Yesh, to experience all the beautiful blessings and light that the Creator has prepared for us and for our world, we must commit to fighting this daily battle, experiencing, again, yes, the worlds of light, but transforming those worlds of darkness to the consciousness of Ein Od Milvado, that there's nothing but the light of the Creator. And at least inching towards 66% of my day lived in that consciousness. Then I am on the path for which my soul came into this world, and I can be a conduit for that light for others. Shabbat Shalom.